Three. Aloha Pumehanakako. The December 6, 2023 Neighborhood Board number 34 meeting is called to order. Welcome to our MakakiloKapoleiHonokai Hale Community Forum. My name is Anthony Paris, and I will serve as your board chair. We are holding a hybrid meeting in person at Kapolei Hale, conference room A and B. And wow, technical difficulties. Is everybody okay? There was no earthquake here in Kapolei.
Yeah, I would feel it if it was. I'm sorry. I'm not far.
Okay. We got our AB going again. Great. So we're having our meeting in person at Kapolei Hale and conference room A and B, and online via WebEx. Order and decorum. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand or your virtual hand and wait for the presiding officer to call upon you. If I missed any hands in person or online, please try to get attention via chat online to our trustee neighborhood board assistant so that they can get my attention so we can get to you. Speakers have 3 minutes to comment on any item. Those giving reports may take up to 10 minutes. Those presentation materials have been provided and distributed and is available in our cloud link on our agenda. Please remember to silence any electronic devices and keep yourself muted when not talking on WebEx. And please remember to state your name for the record before sharing your comment, question, or testimony so that we can get it down in our minutes. This is our community forum, and everyone is asked to engage with the spirit of aloha. Be free to vigorously debate agenda items. Remember to treat each other with respect and passion, especially when we're passionately advocating. Let's honor each other, keep to the allotted times when speaking, and collectively finish and get out here on time, especially since this is the holiday season. So we are starting at 6:30 today. So we anticipate a lot of our community members and neighbors that didn't get the memo will show up at 7. So with that, is there any questions?
Yes.
Chair recognizes Vice Chair Dr. Keone.
Is it possible to turn down the air conditioning?
We will check on that.
Yeah, I can check about it when you guys.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Can we do a roll call, please?
Yes. Bosler. Dudley.
Here.
Herrera. Hale. Khan.
Here.
Lidstone.
Here.
Singleton.
Here.
Ta'ala.
Ew.
Harris.
Hill.
We do have quorum at this time, Chair, with 6 of 9 members present.
Awesome. With that, we'll go to our city monthly reports, seeing if anyone's available at this time for us. I'm starting with Honolulu Fire Department.
Hello, Captain Douglas G., Kapolei Fire Station. It's my understanding that you folks did not have a meeting last month. So I do have the reports for October and the month of November. So if you want me to read both, I will go ahead and read both. Starting with October. Incident statistics for October 2023. As far as fires go, structure fires, we had 0. Wildland and brush, 8. Nuisance fires, which include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle, we had 10. Cooking, 0. And activated alarms with no fires, we had 15. As far as medical emergencies or as other emergencies go, medicals, we had 193. Motor vehicle collisions with a pedestrian, we had 1. Motor vehicle crash or collisions, we had 8. Mountain rescues, 0. Ocean rescues, we had 1. And hazardous materials incidents, we had 1. The fire safety tip and announcement for last month was regarding holiday cooking safety. Keep everyone safe this holiday season. Thanksgiving is a peak day for home cooking fires with more than 3 times the daily average for such incidents. Christmas Day and Christmas Eve rank second and third, with both having nearly twice the daily average of fires. Unattended cooking is by far the leading contributing factor in cooking fires and fire deaths. Our suggestions are to stay in the kitchen and focus on the food when you are cooking on the stove top. Stay in the home when cooking your turkey and check on it frequently. If you want a fried turkey, purchase it from a grocery store, restaurant, or buy a fryer that does not use oil. Turkey fryers that use cooking oil are not safe. These fryers use large amounts of oil at high temperatures, which can cause devastating burns. Consider purchasing an infrared fryer, air fryer, or electric turkey fryer that has been listed by a qualified testing laboratory. Do not leave fryers unattended when in use. That was for last month's. Now I'll go into November 2023. Fires, we had 1 structure fire, 7 wildland and brush fires, 8 nuisance fires, which include rubbish fires outside of a structure or vehicle fire. Cooking, we had 1. Activated alarms with no fire, we had 13. In terms of emergencies, we had 172 medicals, 0 pedestrian accidents, 8 motor vehicle accidents, 0 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and 2 hazardous material incidents. Our fire safety tip for this month is regarding holiday decorations. Carefully decorating your home can make your holidays safer. Ensure decorations are at least 3 feet from heat sources and do not block the exits. If you choose to use a natural tree, ensure it is watered regularly. As trees dry out, they become more and more flammable. Be careful with electrical decorations. Ensure they are used in accordance with the manufacturer instructions. Always turn off Christmas tree lights before leaving home or going to bed. Always keep candles, matches, and lighters securely out of the reach of children. Remember to blow out all candles prior to leaving home or going to bed. That's all I have for today.
Thank you, Captain, for the reports from both months. We appreciate them. Are there any questions from fellow board members? Any questions from the community at large? Hearing none, thank you so much for your service, and we wish you and the rest of the people on the team a wonderful
Thank you and
holiday.
happy holidays.
Okay. Is HPD online? Not yet. What about Board of Water Supply? Not yet. So Mayor Rick Blangiardi, representative, is not here this evening. They did send a memo over with responses to questions from the board and community, which can be viewed on our Google Drive. If you want to do highlights or no.
Yeah, I can, if you'd like, absolutely.
So we're going to ask our neighborhood board assistants to do highlights from the mayor's memo.
Yeah, so just a few highlights. These are mostly from the mayor's newsletter from the month of December. There's affordable housing updates across Oahu, a couple of the projects going on. The county mayor's tour for the Lahaina wildfire zone. There's something in there about that. There was a $1 million grant for art on the island of Oahu. There's also ways on how to weigh in on Oahu's climate strategy. There are new city services available in Kapolei. If you want more specifics, check out the newsletter. And then if you want to view the newsletter online, just go to www.oneoahu.org/newsletter. And then the only other thing here that I'll definitely mention is the Neighborhood Commission Office is hiring neighborhood board assistants to engage in public awareness for community support. Neighborhood assistants help coordinate with neighborhood board chairs and produce written reports to members of the public. Please send your resume to nco@honolulu.gov or call the NCO at 808-768-8255. 3710.
Thank you for the highlights on the mayor's memo. I appreciate it. And do we have the Honorable Councilmember Andrew Tupolo online or representative?
Yeah, Kika here. Kika Tepeni.
Hey, aloha Kika. Welcome.
Hi. So I don't have anything to report except that she did have a letter, if you guys have not received or saw. It was to the chief pushing more attendance and police presence in our community. So we did have like a bulk present of like DUI checks and more presence in the community this past few weeks. She requested that from the chief to have more presence of HPD after we had a meeting with a few of the chief, prosecutor, and majors on our west side. So she did write a letter, which the board will get a copy of that letter. But she'll be pushing for more police presence and more of those DUI checks. Other than that, I did want to share a little bit. If anyone had made it to our crime town hall last night, we did have a good amount of people from the community from all of the West Coast come. So we thank anybody that in the Kapolei area that did make it. But for now, that's all we have to report, and we have. I'm open for any questions.
Thank you so much for the report. Are there any questions from fellow board members? Chair recognizes Board Member Mikaela Linsdell.
Aloha Kika. Just wanted to say happy birthday to council member. She's such a hardworking council member for our district and she does so much. I appreciate her town hall. She had a great turnout yesterday. I saw some highlights. Just all of her town halls are great. The way she engages community in these town halls, I really appreciate. So you can relay that to her. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo.
Will do.
The chair recognizes Vice Chair Dr. Keone Dudley.
Hi, just wondering, is there any progress at all on getting a new police district out in Waianae?
Yeah, so in our town hall, that was one of the questions that we had so far. With getting more police teams there, she's working on a District 9. We still haven't got a full answer of yes, but they're still doing hiring in the new academy. But we also so far they said they're going to open it up for people to use that area. So they got a new fingerprinting machine. So yesterday the mayor's team had said that we're going to start opening that so that we don't have to have police officers coming from Kapolei all the way to Waianae.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions from fellow board members? Any questions or concerns for the Honorable Council Member from the community at large? Hearing and seeing none, mahalo nui loa. Thanks for being with us during our holiday special board meeting. Wishing you and your family well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Member for her birthday. Mahalo Kika. Aloha. Okay. Is Uncle Frank Canadio on for the OMPO report, please?
Yes. There were 2 meetings of the Citizen Advisory Committee since our previous meeting. In November, OMPO Executive Director Mark Garrity said a citizen survey was successful and the state is now examining transportation systems elsewhere. The vision for the 2050 Oahu Regional Transportation Plan, or ORTP, is reinforced by community values for safe, reliable, climate-resistant, and affordable multimodal transportation choices. As improvements are made, progress will be measured against ORTP goals. I asked how results are measured against doing nothing, such as ignoring development of the Makakilo Drive extension, and Mr. Garrity said they will keep tracking the issue. Skylar Ross of the Mililani Waipio board stated that residents in his area are hurt by the lack of parking at rail stations in the Pearl City area, and Mr. Garrity acknowledged that the Pearl Highlands Rail Garage was deferred due to cost considerations. CAC Chair Kathleen Rooney led a discussion on the goals of the CAC. The issue of hearing presentations on non-OMPO products was again brought up, with some neighborhood board representatives wanting to add CAC agenda items. Samantha Lara of OMPO said that items must be submitted at least 2 weeks in advance. Overall, the consensus was that the CAC is doing well. At today's meeting, Mr. Garrity reported on attending a Phoenix conference on transit funding and technology. Then Robin Shishido provided an HDOT update, primarily on the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or IIJA, which provides $7.5 billion for infrastructure from a total of $51.65 billion. Much of the amount is for federal programs, so actual funding for Oahu highways will be $17 million this year, increasing to $21.9 million in 2026, for a total of $105.2 million. The IIJA goals include safety, system preservation, multimodal integration, encouraging economic vitality, and improving resilience, that is, including greening operations. Specific mention was for red light cameras, raised crosswalks, incentivizing affordable housing, electric vehicle charging stations, which will go to 350 on Oahu, and increasing broadband access. In response to my question on IIJA funding for DTS projects, Mr. Shishido said it is included, but HDOT does not report for DTS. I recommend that our board chair or transportation chair submit an agenda item for a DTS update to OMPO to Savanta.Lara, Lara, at oahumpo.org. And you should have that address on your written report, Mr. Chair. The next meeting will be on 3 January, so the item should be submitted by 19 December. CAC membership was discussed for 13 organizational members who have missed a number of meetings. 4 or 5 of those members were there and will be continued. The others may be removed from OMPO membership. Mahalo.
Aloha, thank you very much, Uncle Frank, for the report. Are there any questions from fellow board members? Any questions from the community at large? Okay. Uncle Frank, just to confirm, what action did you want the board to take at this time?
Well, I think we should try to add an update from DTS to the agenda for the CAC, so they can tell us what they're up to, like spending money on Farrington Highway widening and other things. And if it's on the agenda, whether or not they respond is up to them. But if the agenda item is just submitted by the middle of this month, they can add it to the January agenda, or maybe possibly February if they have the agenda filled for January. I just think we should get a DTS update the way HDOT presented their update.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from our OMPO representative is that they're requesting that our board request from DTS to provide an update to the CAC, similar to what HDOT has done. Okay.
So moved.
So do we need to make the 2/3 because it's not on the, okay.
No,
Okay.
honestly, something like that, I can just include it in the mayor's report, and then, and if you guys want to take further action at another time, that'll be fine, but I can just put in that request for you guys.
Okay, we'll put in the request for it. Okay, so the request has been noted by, are there any objections to the request? Hearing none, the chair will call it unanimous that we're requesting that. Thanks, Uncle, for your report. We appreciate the good work, and we hopefully DTS is able to provide the CAC with updates.
Mahalo.
Let's check in. Are there is HPD or Board of Water Supply back in the room? Okay, hearing none, then we are making good time and we will see if our presenters are available. I did hear from Dr. Makanani Salah that they will not be able to come tonight for the FestPack presentation and asked to be rescheduled. So we have one presentation this evening from the Kobayashi Group on the requested Parkway Village at Kapolei update. So if they're online, that's great, and we can get to them. And if not, we will go to the state monthly reports. Because I did let them know. Oh, you guys are here?
Harris and board
Awesome.
members. Good evening. Can you show the slides or should I try and share my screen?
No, you can share your screen, no problem.
Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if you see this.
Okay, we see your desktop.
So do you see the Kapolei Parkway screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. My name is Elton Wong. I'm with the Kobayashi Group. We are doing this project with Hale Group, who is a LIHTC developer. They have done a number of projects within the state of Hawaii. So Parkway Village is located here. Let's see if I can get this a little bigger for you. Yeah. Okay. So we are bound by Kapolei Parkway, Kunehi Street, Mehana is here, and Waikea is on this side. Our project is shown here. We have two lots. One is lot 7, and this one is lot 6. It is 10 acres total. We are building 405 units. They're multifamily. They're studio through 4-bedroom units. They are 2 to 3 stories, similar to Mehana on the bottom of us. In addition to building the 405 units on lots 6 and 7, we are building the Manawai Street extension. We are also completing the Waikea Street extension. So this would allow 2 more access points for Mehana residences to get out. I also want to point out that Paul Kelly Elementary School is shown here, kind of kitty corner to the project. We are going to, Village Walk is here. It's a north, east-west walking corridor. And we're also completing the Palailai Mall extension that will be here. And this, as you know, Palailai Mall goes to City Hall on the top and the regional park on the bottom at Mehana. In addition to that construction, we are installing a traffic light at Kunehi and Kapolei Parkway. And we also gonna install one at Waikea and Kapolei Parkway. So these the 405 units we have 401 that will be affordable. The other 4 will be staff and staff unit or manager units. Let's see. These homes would be for rental. 21 will be at 30% AMI, and the remainder would be at 60% AMI. In addition to providing housing, we have rec centers here. And so we have 3 rec centers that have laundry rooms within them, a manager's office, 2-story parking in each of the lots. And we also are providing two preschools. The preschool on building E has 4 classrooms. It will serve 80 children a year. Kamehameha Schools is building this preschool. It's to target children with families at 30% AMI and 60% AMI. They will these preschools will be run by nonprofits that we are working with KS to do. The other preschool that we have shown here is a 2 classrooms preschool of 40 children. This is our community preschool with preference to our residents. And so we're looking at providing child preschools for 4 and 5-year-olds. And they all have preference. If we can't fill these, we will allow other outside families to send their kids here. In addition, we have a program within the lots. Let's see if we can move that over. Within the lots, we have like fenced areas where somebody can operate like a home daycare for small children. This will allow somebody to make a living in terms of providing childcare. And, you know, there's always that challenge between, you know, should I work or stay home to take care of my kids? You know, it kind of affects your income. In this case, you could stay home and take care of your kid, and you can take care of other kids. We have about 84 units within the project that can accommodate this kind of work environment. Okay, so again, we have the our recreation centers here, our 2 stories here. This is lot 6B. And then here we have that KS preschool here, 4 classrooms. They have a playground to play with and rec center with our management office in building C. So in terms of our schedule, we started back in September. We are pretty much completed with our mass grading. We're turning over our first house pad. Completion will be September 2024. Leasing will start shortly thereafter. And the whole project should be complete in September 2025. So that's what this is a rendering. Again, we're 2 and 3 stories. Very similar to the neighbor in the back, Mehana. From the very beginning, we've been working with Mehana because they are our neighbor, and they've been very pleased with having this project next to them. And then this is a rendering of the homes looking down Palalai Mall, and you can see kind of all the way down, you see a regional park. Okay, I can take any questions.
Mahalo to the Kobayashi Group and Uncle Elton for coming tonight in order to provide an update on the project at Parkway Village at Kapolei. Are there any questions from fellow board members? The chair recognizes board member Michaela Lindstone.
Aloha, Elton. So the project is 3 separate blocks. It's on 3 blocks.
It's on 2 blocks, lot 7 and lot 6. I can go back and show you that.
Oh no, yeah,
So we separated the Palalai Mall, but it's actually 1 lot, 1 block.
Makes sense.
yeah. And I think the biggest question is the traffic light on Kune.
Well, both traffic lights I think are very important because Mehana does not have any traffic lights that cross Kapolei Parkway at this time. And I know at one time we had a town hall meeting about the traffic lights and trying to get people to make only right turns. So yes, these two traffic lights are very important.
We have the R cut right now at Kama'aha. But the Kunehi, do you know when that one will go up?
Unfortunately, I do not. We are still having DPP, well, DTS kind of review it, and we're waiting for comments and approval. So we know that's a very important light. There is a 11th month lead time to get all the materials here. We continue to work with the county.
Do you think the light will go in before the first move-in October 2024?
And honestly, at this point, no.
Oh,
Yeah, it is an issue. We have council member Tupola had actually a separate town hall meeting, and that was probably early this year. We haven't got any, she knows it's important. We know it's important. We need some help to get the DTS to kind of move that. So
yeah.
at your last meeting, you had a lot of issues about DTS and them responding. I'm having the same issues.
Yeah, safety, because I mean, just like what you said, it's very shaky based.
Yeah, no, we are fully
Recreation
aware.
center,
We
schools.
had the Hale Kelly Elementary School maybe about a couple months ago. He was crossing the street on Kapolei Parkway to the other side, got hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to the principal one time when I was there, we had a crash there. So from what I understand, it's a very dangerous intersection.
Yeah, it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous.
Acknowledged.
So it's mostly DTS? Is that what?
Mhm.
Okay, I heard. Okay, thank you.
Chair recognizes Vice Chair Dr. Kiyomi Dudley.
Are these going to be rentals or rentals and sales?
It's all rentals.
Okay, and when you say the 30% and 60% of AMI, what is that?
So it's so we have 4 family bedrooms, and that's it's about 100 family making 120,000, and then somebody making 36,000 to rent the studio at 30% AMI. So that's kind of the range.
So this really isn't then for really lower class, the lower income people. This is, I don't know.
These are for working families. It's not a public housing. These are working families like teachers, firemen, policemen, engineers, doctors, and there's hotel workers, so these are for the working people. Now, it is not public housing. So when we first came to the neighborhood board back in December 2019, the whole Mehana, a lot of the Mehana people came out to that neighborhood board meeting thinking it was going to be public housing, and they were very concerned. We explained that it's for working families at 30% AMI and 60% AMI, and they were very relieved. So, yeah, it is not public housing. Right.
Are there any guarantees that this is going to stay, the kind of medium range like it is?
It's not a guarantee, but my lease with the city for the land is for 75 years to remain at this affordability. So yes, it's quite a long time. Way past my lifetime.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, Chair recognizes Board Member Paola.
Mahalo, Elton, for your presentation. I'd like to add my concern along with Mikiela's regarding how dangerous that intersection is, and you yourself acknowledged it. So everyone knows, everyone in Kapolei knows, but we get kind of the same rigmarole regarding, we know there's a problem, but we're gonna like wait for something terrible to happen. We're already having kids get hit. I've had some couple close calls myself. I think that we should prioritize getting the lights in first before something totally terrible and undoable happens. There's just too many kids and families crossing that area for us to delay any further. So if there's a course of action that you recommend, should we blast DTS? Should we, what do we do at this point? I imagine that once the whole Hale community gets a fuller understanding of how big this project is, 405 units, more traffic in that area for them, they're going to have something to say regarding the safety of their children. So if you have any recommended courses of action, something that we haven't done that we should be trying, because it seems like common sense isn't working. And I think it's common sense to put lights in before we put homes in. So if you can take that up to whomever and they can come back to us, that'd be great. And to the second point, my second point was wanting to understand the nature of Kamema's relationship with you. Will they not be having their own preschools there?
They're funding up to $2 million for that preschool on lot 7. They are not gonna operate this preschool. This is the preschool here in building E. They are gonna hire the nonprofit to operate those 4 classrooms. Pretty much they're not operating it, but they are kind of managing it. So
Interesting. I guess there's a
but it's
fine line between
not
management and operation.
necessarily for, I guess, Hawaiian kids.
Right.
Strictly. They want to kind of spread the education around. So I don't think that was the point of these preschools.
I was just wondering.
It's sort of theirs, right, to operate and to decide what they want to do.
Okay, so they're at least a fiduciary partner. They're at least
But
providing.
they have full control to do whatever they, but our agreement with them is to operate a preschool. For it to be a preschool. If it's not a preschool, then we're not gonna do a lease with them.
I agree. Preschools are needed in the area, and Kamema is a great provider of them.
Yeah,
So it'd be
and
interesting to see
especially
what comes.
for
I didn't know.
especially for these families that can't afford preschool. The preschool.
Kamema is the most
big-
affordable preschool around. If it's a private preschool, it probably won't be terribly affordable.
Oh
but
yeah,
we'll see.
no, I agree. We looked at the ones around the Kapolei area. They're really expensive.
Yeah, everything period. And then I guess my third thing isn't really addressed to you. I just wanted to say that it was interesting that the neighboring community of D.R. Horton, who in my view hasn't been the best partner in Hawaii, I know you have high praise for them, but I don't think they're that great, has had their tenants coming out concerned that this is public housing. It's like, so what if it is? Like, this is a local community and some people need to live in public housing. So it's just interesting to me that, that these are the kind of neighbors that we somehow seem to be growing here. Doesn't seem like a very Hawaii-centric mindset to be concerned that there might be lower income housing in the area. So I just thought that was interesting. But thank you for your presentation.
Okay, mahalo.
Aloha.
Are there any other questions from fellow board members? Any questions from the community at large? I do have possibly a couple of questions. The first is, what's the category rating for your housing development?
What do you mean by that, Chair?
Up to what grade can they withstand? Is it category 4 or category 3 or 5?
Hurricane.
Hurricane. Yeah. Hurricane winds. Do you know?
I think it's about up to 110. I don't know what the rating is. 110 miles per hour. I know that's kind of the windows and everything. Pretty high. So I guess that would be a category 4. Sorry, sorry.
No-
That
no-
I haven't heard that one yet, so I can find out, Chair, in the email.
That'll be helpful. And the follow-up question would be on the preschools and at your rec center, what is the disaster preparedness? What are the disaster preparedness items that you are building into the community center? And the reason why I'm asking this is as we develop these new developments, housing developments in particular, going vertical or high density, we need to have places for our communities to go, especially if their houses cannot actually withstand the disaster they're being prepared for. So we're asking all of the developers coming in, what level of disaster preparedness are your community centers, your preschools, those items, if your buildings cannot withstand higher levels of disaster.
So
Does that make sense?
yeah, no, it does, Chair.
Yeah.
Our rec centers actually aren't like a school, a cafeteria. So this is the largest rec center. On here in the front is our management office. We have 2 recreation centers where, you know, the residents to have like a party. We have a
Sure.
laundry room, so we don't really have a area for them to kind of congregate. So I would think that the Hale Kelly Elementary School might be a disaster center that people could go to, which is Kitty Corner.
What's the rating for the school?
I don't know. Do 1.
Okay, so that's helpful to know. So at 110 miles per hour, that's a category 2 rating. And we're not even sure if Hale Kelly is actually rated for that as well. So that's a concern, particularly if you're going to be selling these houses where they're going to go for hurricanes.
Well, I can clarify that and get an answer back to you, Chair.
That'd be helpful. And you're saying that the KS is a partner for that preschool as well, and 100% the fiduciary, so they're 100% in charge of that parcel?
It's actually the first floor of that building, so only their area.
Only their area, gotcha. So I know this might be odd, but if you could take back and see, particularly with that area where the keiki might be, if there's a possibility that it might make sense to pen out wise to increase the category rating to at least 3, which would, especially if the kids are gonna be there during the day when the parents are away working, that would probably be really helpful. And that's like 110 to like 130 miles an hour.
Okay, well, let me research that.
Cool, awesome. And we know you're already in the project, so, but if it can be done, that'll be great, whatever we can do to help create spaces where our community members can go to withstand higher levels of hurricanes or other disasters in the community, yeah. Okay, okay, Dr. Keone Dudley.
You know, I just would like to add a little bit there. When you start building, you really need to look at category 5. People are not aware, but when Iniki hit Kauai, they had winds of 225 miles an hour. 225 miles an hour. That's the strongest hurricane ever. And it hit here. When we take a look at Hurricane Lane as it came was a category 5, turned away only 150 miles beneath us. It caused the first wildfires at Lahaina. These wildfires that burned down Lahaina were caused by hurricane. We need to realize that hurricanes are getting broader and stronger, and the category 3 is more the average now. We've had more fives than ever in the last 5 years, the growing number. We really need to start building everything for category 5 because it's not a question of if, it's a matter of when, and it's going to be soon. Thank you.
Acknowledged.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the sentiments of Dr. Keone Dudley. Our board has been working on disaster preparedness for a while, and when the Lahaina unfortunate situation had come up, we recognize that that same situation can happen here in our community because it's primed to do so. So as we continue to do development in our areas, we want to see how we can mitigate that risk and make sure that everyone can be safe in these extreme situations.
Got it.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Mahalo nui loa for your presentation and for answering our call and coming to give us an update. And we look forward to hearing responses to our questions and inquiries.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, now we're going to go to HPD if they're online for their report.
Hello, Chair, board members. I apologize for being so late. December is a crazy month, and I totally forgot you guys meet at 6:30 instead of 7. So I apologize for that.
No problem.
I do, again, Corporal Payment, I'm a Police Department District 8 Community Policing Team. I have your stats for November. In November, we had 29 motor vehicle thefts, 16 in our area, 31 burglaries, 11 in our area, 169 thefts, 25 in our area, 36 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 16 in our area. There's a total of 328 citations issued, 6,551 calls for service, 1,177 in our area. Just a couple of things I wanted to bring up that's happening this weekend. As you all know, the Kapolei City Lights is happening Saturday evening. They're going to be blocking off Fort Barrett and parts of Kapolei Parkway. We're also going to have the Waianae Christmas Parade in the morning. And there's also going to be a Christmas on the Ave, Nanakuli Avenue. So there's going to be a bunch of events going on within the area in the community. So we do ask everyone to just be aware of the traffic situations, make time to be where you need to be on time, knowing that there's going to be traffic detours and traffic period. We ask everyone to be careful, drive carefully. Going to be a lot of people on the sides of the roads and enjoying the parades and the events, as well as the block party and the lights lighting ceremony at Kapolei Hale. So we just ask that everyone drive carefully, be aware of everyone in the road area, and be safe. Also, HPD is setting up various impaired driver checkpoints. If you haven't seen them already, they've been out there quite a bit. So we just want to remind people that they are out there. So again, there's really no reason to be drinking and driving. There's too many options, and it's totally avoidable. So please make good choices. And I'm open for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Aloha, thank you so much for the report. Mahalo nui loa for all of the good work that you guys are doing during this holiday season. And you're not the only one that forgot it was 6:30. So
I'm glad. Thank you. Can I say it was HFD? Were they late?
no, they're actually on.
They were on.
Oh, darn.
They got the memo.
Okay.
Are there any questions from fellow board members or concerns or questions? Chair recognizes board member Mikiela Lidstone.
Aloha, Corporal Pagan. There's been an increase in crime, as you obviously know, but in Kapolei Regional Park, especially the skate park and the incidences that have been highlighted in the news recently there. I go there regularly with my students and we care for an area there. And my parents have expressed concerns. They want, several of them said they do not want their children going anymore because they're concerned. I disagree with that. I think if we stop going, you know, I think having lawful presence in our parks helps to deter unlawful presence. And it's important that we keep going, but I just wanted to ask you, are our parks safe? I mean, how do you feel? Are they safe right now? What do I tell our parents?
I want to say that they are safe. We have had our incidences. We're not unlike any other park anywhere else. I do agree. Kapolei Regional Park has become a second old school a la park with the amount of homeless that we have in that area. We are trying to address that. I'm sure you all are aware that the city is going through a lawsuit with the ACLU regarding some of our enforcement efforts and stuff like that. We are still on track to do our enforcement as we have been, so we're not stopping based on the lawsuit at this moment. What we do believe is we did some cleanups in some private property areas. And I think due to that, we saw a lot of the people that were unseen for a while in those private property areas coming back into the public area. We do have a couple of park closure enforcements coming up. We have done some shopping cart roundups, which tends to get people to start moving in certain areas and out of the areas and stuff like that. So I do agree, it does look terrible. It does look unsafe. For the most part, I do want to say that they kind of keep to themselves. I know the incident with the stabbing is still under investigation. There's a lot of rumors going around about why it happened and who was there and why they were there and stuff like that. But, I can't really answer to any of those because it is still being investigated. But again, I totally agree with you. The more we use the parks, lawfully, the more we'll push out the unlawful activity. And so, but by all means, when you guys are there, if something's going on, you guys see something suspicious, by all means, give us a call. It just makes it easier for our officers to do that enforcement when we're actually getting calls, because no one can say that we're targeting anyone because we're actually addressing complaints. And believe me, it's gotten to the point where people are checking to see if there's an actual complaint when an officer goes somewhere, especially when it's coming with instances with our residently challenged people and our houses community. It does help when we get the calls that something's going on, or even if they just want us to go check to see what's going on because they don't feel comfortable. That is enough for our officers to go out there, and it helps us to justify our presence in those areas.
Good to know. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from fellow board members? Concerns or manao? Any questions, concerns or manao from the community at large? The only thing I can note, officer, is that I have noticed, people have noticed, the increase in feral cats at the regional park and those feeding them.
Yes.
So can we call you as well if the aunties and uncles are not being mindful of their neighbors, because we are asking them not to feed them, but they tell us otherwise? Or is that not within your jurisdiction?
No, you can. We'll see what we can do. I think along with the feeding, even the pigeon population has gotten crazy in that park. So I'm sure that's drawing a lot of our cats in that areas as well. So again, we will respond to the calls that we get. There's only so much we can do with that kind of stuff, but we'll see if we can get people. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe a couple of people that feeding the cats, they have set up traps to help get them spayed and neutered as well. So if they're helping us with that, then that kind of helps. But then again, it does draw the population into one area. So.
Mahalo, thank you. I'm hearing no other questions, comments, or manao from the community. Mahalo for your service and happy holidays.
Thank you. Again, I apologize to everyone for being late, and happy holidays. Be safe.
Do we have board and water supply on? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to our state monthly reports, starting with the congressionals. Is Uncle Nestor here with us this evening from Congressman Ed Case's office?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and members of the community who might be in the audience or tuning in on online. Nestor Garcia, Communications Director for Congressman Ed Case. Mr. Chairman, I'll see if I can try to share my report with you there in the room. I did post Can you see that, Mr. Chairman?
We can't see anything as of yet. Looks like it's starting. Okay, we got it. We're
Okay.
ready.
Okay, so this is the fourth quarter report. I did post it online as well, the link to the report on our website. The first item there is about how the congressman continues to try to keep our communities quiet and safe, both in the air and on the ground, actually, when it comes to commercial air tour helicopters and small aircraft. He actually did testify just yesterday before the House Natural Resources Committee on the particular issue of air tour helicopters as they tour our national parks. He has already gone on record saying he doesn't not want to have that continue, actually, because they are a particular nuisance to the people on Maui, Haleakala National Park, and the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the Big Island. So he made his sentiments known in committee hearing just yesterday at the Capitol. When it comes to addressing the tragic Maui wildfires, again, Congressman actually did testify recently before the House Small Business Committee, and there he wanted to be specific in how to deal with or how to help actually small businesses that were affected by the wildfires, especially in Lahaina town. So he's gone on record there, not just to help the people, the residents, and everyone else who suffered, but small businesses. He made a point in a hearing just yesterday in DC. Congressman also wants to make sure that people understand what he does for individuals. This is called, it's not named after him, obviously. It's called casework, actually. For me in particular, Mr. Chairman, I handle cases for people who have an issue with the Office of Personnel Management, retirees who are not getting their retirement benefits, for example. I also have taken over just recently the veterans portfolio for veterans. And in fact, I helped to stage a conference that we had back in November 4th for veterans. And we try to address their particular concerns. That's it actually for this particular report, but I want to add a couple more items. The congressman will be announcing the winners of his Congressional App Challenge. It's an annual competition that he hosts for his congressional district. He'll announce the winners in person when he's here on Friday. So we'll be publicizing the winners. Hopefully our friends in the media will spread the word. And Mr. Chairman and members in the community, the congressman will be holding a talk story town hall, if you will, on January 6th. This is Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10:30 at Kapolei High School cafeteria. So for people in the Kapolei area and surrounding communities might be interested in hearing from Congressman Case, January 6th, once again, Mr. Chairman, is the date. Look forward to seeing you that Saturday morning. Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the board and the community, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything.
Mahalo nui loa for the update from Congressman Ed Case. Are there any questions, concerns, or mana'o from the board? Chair recognizes Vice Chair Dr. Kelly Dudley.
Aloha, Nestor.
Hey.
Nestor, I wrote you about a month ago, telling you that we have this video coming out in January and trying to give the congressman warning about that. Somebody wrote back saying that the congressional delegation is working very closely with the state. And the state is doing nothing. And, you know, that leads us to think that nobody is doing anything in the Congress either. Nestor, we're going to put out this video in January, and the congressman is going to be attacked in the video along with everybody else, you know, and we're going to have many people asking, what are you doing? We need billions of dollars to build places of shelter for our people. You know, we don't have any shelters for anybody in a category 2, 3, 4, or 5. No shelters anywhere. Everybody will stay in their houses and thousands will die. Now, the policy of the state, the actual policy, unspoken as it is let all these people die first, then we'll clean up, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay? So we need the Congress to give us some money so that we can start doing the building of these shelters. The other thing is the military. The military evidently doesn't have any shelters either. They wrote back saying we're working very closely with the state, and you know, as if everything's going to be taken care of, but there are no shelters for their 250,000 people. You know, if we could get the Congress to give the military specific money to build shelters, the money they could do nothing with but build shelters, they could build the shelters for their 250,000 people and the 20,000 workers who work for them. So we need the Congress to keep going on this, and your congressman is really going to get in a lot of trouble with the people if he doesn't have anything to offer in January. So I just ask you to pass that on.
Thank you. Thank you for the heads up, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns, from fellow board members? Any questions, concerns, from the community at large? To follow up on the minister on Vice Chair's concerns that he brought up, if we could find a way, a congressman is willing to work to figure out how we can help the Department of Defense, the military, to increase their disaster preparedness and their ability to assist the civilians outside of just waiting for the state, I think that would be extremely helpful.
Okay. On that score, Mr. Chairman, if I could, on the issue of disaster preparedness, I understand that at a previous board meeting, there was some concern about wildfire management, especially when it comes to federal properties under federal jurisdiction. So
yes.
that note was passed to me. That was a meeting that I did not attend, but I did some initial research, and I'm going to want to report back to your board about it. I did talk to, in particular, the Navy. They do have jurisdiction over several pieces of property in the old Barbers Point, Kalailoa area, especially as it is adjacent to the Coast Guard operation, and White Plains Beach, yeah, those two areas. So they're going to get back to me to see what, if anything, they're doing. And truthfully, they were saying that they're focusing a lot on what they can do to prevent wildfires in the Lualua area. So hopefully they'll get back to me on that, and then I can report back to the chairman in the near future and to his board.
Appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Another question, sir?
So we have a question from Beatrix, John, from Ulukoa.
Hey, aloha, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for the time. I'm calling from Dubai right now from the climate change conference. And we were just talking about our response to climate water challenges. I know Keone been bringing up disaster preparedness as far as shelter, but also I've been trying to bring up for some time now the fact that we don't have a backup plan for water. And I'd like to pose a question that you don't need to ask here, but something to think about. Have you ever been in a hurricane, a cyclone, or a typhoon where the water system has been knocked out? It happens. It happens often. And because we are where we live at in our side of the island, other places where I've been, they can turn to the rainwater because there's a lot of rain. They can do catchment with the amount of rain that comes down every day. Or they have a stream, above ground streams that they can just gather water and boil it. Guess what? Where we live, absolutely zero. This is super scary because you know what? our families will be dependent on bottled water. We will be begging for bottled water. We will be fighting. I can see the community fighting with the amount of people we have. So I know that people are against desalination plants, but my thought is even within that former Barbers Point, not only there but other parts of the islands, to put mini desalination plants, mini ones as backup, that you can store water, use the ocean with a generator just in case, until we get the water back on, because a natural disaster will take them out. The other thing is that regarding the Barbers Point, the former Barbers Point lands, we brought this up a couple months ago. Our NHO requested from the HCDA, the Hawaii Community Development. We asked them if we could. There were some unallocated lands. We asked them, because it had been unallocated and nobody wanted to touch it for several years. We said, can we please, can our NHO use those lands and turn it into breadfruit and sweet potato lands to help with our food security, since it's not being used? We understand that we do have the endangered akoko, and we were willing to do work with the biologists and other scientists to make sure we care for the akoko, but also you make that land productive again for our communities, and not to make money, but just so that we have food security. And then after that, at the last minute, we heard that I believe Kali Watson wanted to express interest. So we don't know what happened with those lands. With those lands was Ordi Pond, and we asked to be a part of it to help decontaminate it and make it pristine, so that nothing else seeps into the aquifer and the surrounding waters. That was turned down as well. So there are other options out there, and if the congressman could help in any of these food, water security, we'd really appreciate it. Mahalo to the board as well. I appreciate all you guys' hard work. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Acknowledged, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, mahalo to our community member Ulukoa that's bringing up longstanding concerns. Like, we're just trying to figure out the best way to steward our collective resources for emergency situation in particular. So mahalo for the work that Ulukoa and his Halau and his NHO is doing in our community. And thank you, Uncle Nestor, again, for the good work that you're doing, and especially with taking over the portfolio for our veterans. Happy holidays and mele kalikimaka.
Happy holidays to you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and the community.
Okay. So do we have Congressman Joe Takuta's representative on with us this evening? Aloha, I think we see you, but we can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now. Awesome.
Okay. Thank you. Aloha Chair and aloha members and the community. I'm Telesia Pasese. I'm the press aide for Congresswoman Joe Takuta. Just some quick things from the Congresswoman. She's sad that she can't be here right now, as she's in DC, but she does wish everybody in their ohana happy holidays. We did also want to go through some quick statistics with you just to wrap up the 2023 year. So this year we had contact with about 10,592 constituents. We were able to return $973,375 in owed benefits to constituents. We also had 519 completed casework as of now. We hosted 12 town halls, 18 satellite office hours, which also includes our 2 Lahaina federal fairs and the office hours we've done at the Disaster Center in Lahaina. And we've also done 15 Farm Bill roundtables. We also wanted to talk really quickly about the CARE Act, which is the Crisis Assistance and Resources in Emergencies Act, which was introduced by Rep. Takuta and a few of her colleagues in Congress. It's basically a bipartisan bill that would provide specialized mental health, substance abuse, and crisis counseling services to first responders, including law enforcement, firefighters, emergency response workers, and 911 operators. So that's one of her legislation that she's been working on this past month. And then we also wanted to make a quick reminder to everyone that we have a teletown hall this not this Wednesday, sorry, but next Wednesday on December 13th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. I will put the RSVP link in the chat, and we'll also put our website where you can get all the information of the teletown hall. And we also wanted to tell people that our rep will be joining the YNI Christmas parade this Saturday. So she hopes to see you there. But other than that, that's all. Thank you.
Mahalo for the report from Congresswoman Jill Takura, and welcome. I think this is the first time here with us, Felicia Pasese. So, okay, are there any questions? Chair recognizes Dr. Keone Dudley, Vice Chair.
I'm sure you heard everything that I said to the Congressman Case's representative. Could you tell us, I did send the same letter to the Congresswoman a month ago. Has she done anything at all about hurricane shelters and trying to find money for us?
Unfortunately, I don't know anything about that inquiry, but I can check up with the staff that was here previously and also with the Congresswoman herself, so I can get back to you on that.
Good. So next month, could you please give us a report on what she has done? Okay. Now, let me tell you, by the time that we have the next meeting, this report the video will probably already be shown on television. So, you know, she doesn't have much time to start looking into things, and she really would be very smart to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any further questions from fellow board members? Any comments? How about from the community at large? Seeing none, thank you so much for that. And also in your next update, or the person that's coming, could you remind us of the funding cycle for Congress, so that if we aren't able to actually address these things in the next coming months, at least we can potentially have a plan forward for how we can work with our congressional delegation for funding for disaster preparedness and emergency situations.
Of course. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, board members.
Thank you. Awesome. Now let's go and to Governor Josh Green's representative here with us on full board impact. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. Gordon Pang, representing the Office of the Governor. In my day job, I'm the Housing Information Officer for the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. I do apologize that I did not come to last month's meeting. And as for tonight, yes, I also thought the meeting started at 7, but I would have been late for 7 anyways. Apologize for being late. As always, the governor's newsletter is available here and also on the governor's website. Lots of good stuff there. A lot of first year, summaries of things that's been happening. The main thing I want to talk to you about tonight, though, is a program that I'm very familiar with, and that's the Hawaii Fire Relief Housing Program that HHFTC is in charge of coordinating. Basically, I mean, at the bottom of it, it's basically a Craigslist for the Maui survivors to go and see if they can find folks who are willing to provide them housing at less than market rates, hopefully. We do not require folks to charge less than market rate. I mean, you know, that would run into some complications if we tried to do that. So we just leave it up to the free market to decide, and hopefully, you know, these folks will have a little passion and help their neighbors by charging them a little bit less rent. We've since the week after the fires this program's been stood up. We've helped about 1,000 people find housing, about 500 households. But, you know, as you folks know from reading the paper or watching the TV news, there are still thousands upon thousands of Maui residents who are in search of housing, or permanent types of housing. The hotels are starting to ask that residents move. And so some of these folks are getting into some dire situations. And so we desperately are trying to find as many people who can help as possible. So I ask you, even if you can't do it, put these up on your coffee room walls or whatnot. Hand them out to your friends, your neighbors, at your holiday parties. You know, folks need help. So that's all I got for tonight. Be happy to take any concerns back to the governor's office. I know you had a concern about disaster shelter. Is that correct?
Hurricane shelters, yes.
Okay. Can you be a little more specific, exactly what it is you're seeking?
Tonight, it's quite possible that the neighborhood board will be authorizing a letter to the governor asking him to participate in the video, to actually introduce the video and to wrap it up and to do a public service announcement to advertise it. And anything that you could do to encourage him. We've been working with Paul Reed, who's in the governor's office, and Paul has gotten our letter to the governor, so I think he knows about it by now. He told us to get people to write the governor, and I contacted about 150 people, activists, and people in government and so forth. And I'm pretty sure that he's gotten some pretty good word about it. If we can get the letter to him tomorrow, and the basic thing is, can we get an answer back from him, yes or no? And we really hope that he will introduce the video. It's a video about the hurricane threat, and it's quite, it really discusses what a hurricane is. People get a good understanding. They get a good understanding of all the things that are going to happen. And then we also have things that they can do, how they can fortify their house and stuff like that. So, you know, it's something, nobody knows anything about this. And it's a very real threat. And you know, we have people from the NOAA talking about it. I mean, there's no question that this is what's really going to happen, and it's going to be happening soon. And we have zero preparation for it, and we've got to start getting really active.
Okay. Shoot me whatever materials you want, and I'll pass on the message and see what they have to say about it. Okay.
Great. Thanks.
Any other questions from fellow board members? Chair recognizes Board Member Mikiela Lindstone.
Thank you, Gordon, for being here. And it's okay that you didn't make it last month. None of us did either.
And then
we didn't have a meeting last month. It's all good.
I've been hearing a lot from the governor about building. He's building a lot, affordable housing. And but I'd like to hear more about how he's pouring resources into social services and our vulnerable populations, especially our populations, our homeless populations, and our people that are right on the border of that, so we don't roll that homeless population. I'm concerned especially about our community losing our one homeless provider, Chief Zero. I'm worried about what Corporal Pagan said, that our biggest park here, Kapolei Regional Park, is the Nu'ala Park. That scares me. My heart just dropped. I love that park. But that's the new Ala Park. That's dark. Because this is a new city, and that affects so much. It affects our businesses, it affects our youth, it affects so much. And that can't happen. I wish I could hear more from the governor about how he's building our people, and pouring resources into our people. Because we can't have all these structures, but our people are just falling apart.
So you're asking that maybe there be more funding and support for wraparound type services that accompany?
Tons of services for social services. We need so much social services. So we need more people in the parks. We need like an army of people in our parks here on the west side. Not just for the people, but for the trees, for the soil, for the invasives, or just everything that's just sucking the life out of everything.
With respect to the housing issue, the homeless issue, there is a homeless coordinator, maybe I can tell him to see what's being done on the west side. Yeah, and especially in the Kapolei area.
Yeah, thank you.
To assist there, okay.
Okay, great. Are there any fellow board members that have questions? Concerns, Mana'o? Questions, concerns, Mana'o, for the governor from the community at large? Okay, for my Mana'o for the community right now, as the state provides funding, particularly through HHFDC for new housing developments, right? Prioritizing workforce and housing developments. Is there a way that we can help incentivize the creation of disaster preparedness in housing projects of a certain level? Because when you put in 400 new houses in families, that's like 16 to 2,000 people, and we already don't have enough space, let alone appropriate shelters in our communities for people to go to. And if everybody gets on the road, right? Not only is there no place to go, but even if there was, it'll be really difficult for them to go. So for the second city, it would be really helpful if we could incentivize those developers that are willing to look at putting in disaster preparedness elements into their construction. If it's not for the whole building, what about the first floor? If it's not for all of the units, what about for their community center? And if it's not for those people can't do it on one project, how about we try and coordinate to put it on the block somewhere where there's 4 projects going on? And this is of note for our community because we're projected with 20 to like 30 plus thousand more units coming up in the next 20 years. So if we don't start putting in disaster preparedness shelters or resiliency technologies for water, for electricity, for emergency services, and put it into these new developments and just expect the free market to take care of it. The free market has not been doing well for our community at this time. We got another Chick-fil-A, another 7-Eleven and Hale gas station, but we don't have another place where it's a community resilient hub. Right? So we're reaching out to see if there's a way for us to incentivize that in the process, particularly if it's state funding, right? That's funding these, particularly if there's city land leases for 75 years. Can we coordinate some way? Yeah. Okay. Chair recognizes Dr. Kenny, Belby Vice Chair.
I just want to add in there that, what was I going to talk about? You were talking about what?
Disaster preparedness, resiliency elements, yeah. In the new projects that are coming
Oh,
up.
I know what it was. Okay. There are already laws that say that you have to build to a category 5 with new houses. And if you don't build the whole house, you have to build at least a safe room to accommodate the people. However, when I call DPP, they say, no, actually, we're not doing that. And then they said, if the houses are strong now, so if people just put wood on their windows, that's going to do the job. Well, you know, we do have glass now that will withstand a category 4 here. And I understand they have glass in Florida that will withstand a category 5. We could do it. We could do it. But when people like D.R. Horton control so much of the people in the government, and you just can't get anything done. One of the great problems that we have is that so many of our elected people are so very good, except on the issues where people give them money for a certain cause. And that they are good for the people on everything else, but when it comes to taking on that cause, the money that they've gotten from their benefactors overrides the needs of the people. I'll shut up now. Thank you very much.
Not to punt off to the city, but just putting on my old city hall reporter's cap. Isn't this more of a zoning type of thing where maybe?
Yeah, I was
you
just
folks
throwing
can-
that as information. That's all.
No, maybe you folks can try to convince the council members to insert language into the measures that would require these types of.
We will. Thank you.
Requirements.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, so thank you, Gordon. That is something that we're looking at for the zoning, but the other part where we're talking to particularly the workforce and the affordable housing developers, that they're letting us know that they're competing for these project dollars. And if there's no incentive for them to do that, their bottom line is different. So if there's a way that we can actually help them, the people that are putting in bids to be more neighborly and focus on the issues of our community, that would be helpful. And the ones that are top of mind right now, again, is like not just disaster preparedness, but resiliency, like electricity, water. So what happens if things are out for 14 days, right? Like everybody talks about 10 days of emergency issues, but from the education that we've received in the last couple of years about disaster preparedness, we recognize that like we would need like United States military intervention and blue caps from the United Nations if we don't have more than 3 weeks of massive containers coming to Hawaii. That's just where we're at. So what can we do to increase resiliency? But not just in zoning, but how do we incentivize it so that our partners, those wanting to develop here, actually see a net gain for they're incentivized to do a good thing for our community along those two lines. So that would be helpful, especially with your experience and expertise as we're navigating these challenges together. Yeah. Okay, we have 2 community members. We're going with board member Hale first and then Auntie Melody afterwards.
Aloha, mahalo for being here, for representing the governor's office. It's good to have representation at this level. I think the thing that I just want to add is what I hope you would take up to our governor and your office there. And that is that I think what the thing that we're all getting at is this, there needs to be more thoughtfulness. I know that building is a very quick fix. It's the sexy solution. You know, if we build it, everything will be fine. But as history has borne out over time, there need to be more roots to deep solutions. So there are other issues that are intermingled at levels deeper than just housing. You know, we need to, yes, work in disaster preparedness. Food security is a major thing. We have, as Mikiala stated, families that are just in desperate straits. We need better education out here, education systems out here, you know. So I don't want, my concern, and I'm echoing concerns of many folks I've talked to in my community, so in my neighborhood directly, this idea that if we just go ahead and throw all of our resources behind just building stuff, that in and of itself solves a problem. When I think we should have learned by now that actually creates a lot of other problems. And so going forward, I just hope that we're all super, super mindful to not repeat anything of the past, and to do far, far and away better than we've ever done. And we need to at least shore up these major pukas we have in our systems here, where yes, we don't have disaster preparedness. We are going to be hurting for who knows how long, should we be struck with a natural disaster, or should we just have food shortages or whatever, you know what I mean? Just more thoughtfulness would be very appreciated along the board, and not thinking that development is the magic bullet. Thank you.
Now, Auntie Melody Aduha, if she's still wanting to make her question or comment.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, I just have a comment that I'd like to make, if you could relay it back to the governor. Basically that the funding that's going to be made available, I believe, under the Y report, and that the governor has the intent to have the Halava shaft reopen. However, that is still in it's in conflict with the Board of Water Supply, because they don't feel that it's safe to open the Halava shaft and use that shaft for the Muni water system at this point. So we have a conflict there. If you could let the governor know that as a member of the CRI, we are concerned that they want to move swiftly, in which case the Board of Water Supply is not prepared to move that swiftly yet without exploratory and monitoring wells. So that's my only comment. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, any other comments, questions, all to be passed on to the governor? Homework to give Uncle Gordon. Remember, this is the holiday season, so. Okay, seeing none else, thank you so much for coming and providing what you've done and the good work that you're trying to do with getting housing, encouraging our local communities to find places for our other local members that have been displaced from the natural disaster line of fires, to get them a place to stay.
I know Uncle Keone has a big house.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Happy holidays.
Mahalo nui loa. Okay. Now, moving on in tonight's presentations, reports. We have Highways Division. So seeing none, no problem. It's going off to Senator Gabbard's office. Is the representative here tonight?
Yes, aloha. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, I wasn't sure. Okay, aloha, Chair and Vice Chair and honorable board members. I'm Nanook Dini. I'm Senator Gabbard's community liaison here on his behalf. On November 2nd, Senator Gabbard held a joint informational briefing on the status of the Red Hill defueling. The briefing was co-chaired by the Senate Health and Human Services Committee and Senate Agriculture and Environment Committee. The purpose was for the Joint Task Force Red Hill to update the public and community members on the defueling status of Red Hill. You can read about it on page 4 of the Senator's newsletter, and you can view the entire briefing on the Senate YouTube channel. And I'll drop links to the Senate YouTube channel and the Senator's newsletter once I'm done. So on November 16th, as chair of the Agriculture and Environment Committee, Senator was invited to tour Sugarland Farms, the largest farm on Oahu, owned and run by Larry Jess. You can read more about this in his newsletter on page 3. Senator also attended the second annual Ho'opili Urban Garden Learning Fair on November 18th, where residents were learning about home gardening, and you can read more about that event on page 2 of his newsletter. The 2024 legislation session is just around the corner, Opening day is January 17th. Senator Gabbard invites you to stop by afternoon, so 12 noon, for drinks and a piece of his renowned toffee, and to help him kick off the 2024 session. Also, if you have any ideas for legislation, please email the senator at sengabbard@capitol.hawaii.gov, which I'll drop in the chat as well. And last, Senator invites everyone to mark your calendars and join his first Listen Story community meeting of the new year on Saturday, January 27th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Kapolei High School Teachers Lounge or on Zoom. And if you'd like to RSVP, you can also send us an email and I'll drop that email in the chat. To view a recording of his past Listen Story meetings, you can visit Senator Gabbard's YouTube page. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions back to the senator.
Mahalo. For the report, are there any questions, concerns, or mana'o from fellow board members? Any questions, concerns, or mana'o from the community at large? Two things I want to note is the first is, well, thanks and gratitude for Senator's work with the defueling of Kapukaki. If you could send that back. And also to note that the Department of Defense through the CRI representatives have indicated that they will be sending a representative to our January meeting to talk to us about the fuel that is currently at Kapukaki has in part been transferred to a facility in Campbell Industrial Park. So it will be great to hear and to follow up with Senator regarding the Navy's treatment of the fuel and any safeguards that they've put into place and what is their long-term plans. So those questions will be hopefully raised again in January to the DoD representative, but if Senator could follow up, that would be great as well.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. And now we move on to State Senator Shimabukuro's office. Senator Shimabukuro's office representative's not here. Now let's move on to State Representative Diamond Garcia.
Diamond City's off island.
Okay. Representative Diamond Garcia is not here. What about Representative Kanani Souza?
She was on earlier. I don't see her right now.
Okay. If she comes back, please do let me know. State Representative Darius Kila, or his representative. Oh, we are flying through tonight's agenda. That's great. HCDA, is Francine Murray with us this evening? Awesome. This is what happens when you change the time, the location, and the date during the holidays. We get to, is there anyone from the city or from the state or from the Fed governments that hasn't done a report that wishes to do so at this time? Let me know. Okay, with that, now we get to go to community and board concerns and announcements. So any announcements from fellow board members? Chair recognizes Vice Chair Dr. Kelly Dudley.
I want to talk about a couple of things. We formed a PIG last meeting that would work with the quarry in trying to get a bas relief of some kind of Hawaiian figure on the wall there. I just want to say that we haven't really called any meeting or anything because NAN Incorporated bought the quarry and Alexander and Baldwin, whom we were kind of working with, sold it. And so we could just kind of letting things get settled before I try to approach them at all in any way and try to get the committee together first. The second thing that I want to mention is at the meeting, a couple of meetings back, I talked about the fact that I would like to see us bring experts to the meeting to talk about what could be done to change the problems that we're having in society that are causing so many of our people to move away. I do want you to know that I have been following up on that. I don't have anything at all. I can't find any experts right now. I put out word to a number of areas in the economics and so forth of UH and also at the UH Law School, asking them to tell us about laws that could possibly be changed here in Hawaii within the United States, the acceptance and things that other countries are doing outside of the United States that we might possibly look into. I just want you to know I'm working on that, but I haven't got any answers yet. But we'll be following up. Okay.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair, for the work that you're doing, and appreciate the update regarding the pig status. Okay, any other announcements from fellow board members? Now we go to the community at large. Questions, concerns, announcements from the community at large. Chair recognizes community member Wiedemann.
Aloha, neighbors. My name is Dee Wiedemann. Starting my video, there we go. My name is Dee Wiedemann. I'm here with Aloha Racing. And I just wanted to announce to everybody that we do have our 2024 schedule in place. All 4 events will begin and end actually in Eva down at the new Waikai facility. But the courses that we run will enter into the Kapolei area. I have maps if you'd like to see them, or I can just provide you with an email address for anybody that wants to take a peek.
Yep, the email address would be great, and if you could send the maps to myself or the neighborhood board assistant, we can get it to our digital archive.
You got it. You actually already have the maps and you confirmed by email. So we're good there, yeah? Anybody with any questions whatsoever, go to aloharacing.com. You can check out the map, see if you have any concerns. And then if you do use the contact us form, those emails come directly to me and I'm happy to address any concerns.
Awesome. Any questions, concerns from the community regarding the upcoming 2024 schedule for? Okay, hearing none, thank you for providing the update. Appreciate it.
I'm so sorry. Let me do this real quickly. I want to give you the dates just so they're on record. We have all of them are 5Ks, 10Ks, and half marathons. We have our Akahai event on January 21st. Our Ho'omau event on June 10th. Laulea is on, wait a minute, that's correct. Laulea is on July 15th. And then Makoa, oh my goodness, I'm looking at the wrong calendar. Hang on one second. Akahai, January 20th. Ho'omau, May 4th. Laulea, July 13th. And Makoa, November 2nd. I'm so sorry for the confusion.
Oh.
All right. I will look for any comments by through our website. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you for letting us know.
You bet.
Okay. Any other announcements from our community members going to Dad's break?
Good evening. I hope you can hear me okay. I got an email literally minutes before I sat down for the meeting tonight. The email is from the Friends of Haiku Stairs, who, as a lot of you know, are working to try to save the Stairway to Heaven, keep the city from tearing it down. The email contains some I'm actually going to say disturbing information. What the email states is that the city basically has a backroom deal that they're going to sell the stairs to Kualoa Ranch, and that we as taxpayers are going to have the wonderful privilege of paying to have the stairs torn down and given away to Kualoa. Now, I haven't fact check this. I don't know exactly if that's 100% accurate or not. I was hoping that there was someone from the city here at the meeting tonight, but I don't see anyone here that could help me with getting some more information, verifying that this is correct, you know, maybe providing some more context to it or anything like that. So that is my concern. Thank you.
Thanks, Van. At least we can try and route it to the mayor's office. If you could send over the email and forward it to myself and to Logan, we can then try and get it checked by the January meeting.
I will forward it and hopefully we'll have something after that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
I just want to follow up on that, everything that you say, that is true. I got the letters also myself, and from the Haiku Stairs, the Save the Haiku Stairs committee. And it does seem that that is what's happening. In my own feeling, just to say what my feelings are, I think that if any way that we can use stairs to keep a beautiful hike possible here in Hawaii, it's something that I could support. But I certainly do agree with you that there's a lot of behind the scenes kind of thing going on here, and we are going to wind up paying for it when actually maybe other people could, like Kualoa Ranch.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair. So on. Okay, community member Sawan, please.
Aloha, Chair and board members. Thank you for your time this evening. As a community member, I just wanted to, I apologize in advance. I wasn't here for the whole presentation of Corporal Pagan, but I was just, I had sent an email just voicing my concerns of what we've noticed here in the lower part of Makakilo. You know, we noticed that there was an increase in the shopping carts and the homeless and some, I don't know, some people that are just going up and down Makakilo Drive. But we just noticed an increase in that activity. But also, we had noticed recently increase of people with shopping carts going up and down our street, going down to the Palai Solar Farm. And so we've been noticing them entering into the solar farm from Makakilo Drive entrance. And we've noticed that when they enter with their shopping carts, they leave the shopping carts on the outside, but they're getting in through the opening of the gates. And then what we're noticing is that they're coming down on the other way, going through the neighborhood and coming up with shopping carts filled with things. So we're not sure what's going on, but we just noticed an increase of people, of activity going on. And so we're just, wanting to know if other people or, like people that are, have expressed concerns about increased activity, especially with shopping carts being pushed around in the neighborhoods. But we've also, and then the other thing that I wanted to inquire about with Palai Solar Farms was to see, I wanted to see if we could get an update of what is being done with their solar farm, because I remember that when they had introduced their program and what they were going to do here, one of the things that they had mentioned was that they were going to help with the beautification of the entrance of the sign from Makakilo. Now, when you're going up and down Makakilo Drive, the left side of the Makakilo is the side that is where the solar farm is located. And I was under the impression that they were going to help beautify that area, but it doesn't look like anything has been done. In fact, that's where we're noticing like shopping carts, discarded tires, trash, all on that side of the street. Whereas on the other side, where, it's being kept up. And so I wanted to know where are they with this beautification and helping with the community. So that was some of the things that I wanted to know about. Also, on Kahivelo side, the increase of activity of people with shopping carts again, going up and down on going into the Kahivelo Park. And in that area, noticing, like it's just a lot of activity. And so I don't know, if Corporal Pagan had mentioned that in his presentation this evening, but I just wanted to know, like if there's anything that, as far as, what the neighborhood can do. I don't know if there's something that we can do more on our part. I know, like, contacting them, it's almost, when you call and you say it's not an urgent, like call to 911, it really isn't urgent to them, because then you get placed on hold for a while, and so so that was one of the things that I wanted to bring to the neighborhood board this evening. Thank you.
Okay, Chair recognizes Board Member Michaela Lindstone.
I can share a little bit about the shopping carts because I'm in the park quite a lot. And Corporal Pagan can share more, of course, but I'd like to just say HPD, they know this more intimately, but there's a lot of fights over shopping carts, and there's territorial issues. We've had lots of physical fights over shopping carts that are Kapolei Regional versus Walmart, and those that take things from each other's carts. And so it can be very dangerous. So just as a, just be cautious of that. But it is growing, the shopping carts. I agree with you. But I just want to say HPD, they know what's going on with all of that and the shopping carts. It's very territorial. There's a lot of it going on. There's different groups that congregate, and for me, what can we do as a community? Just what Corporal Pagan said. I know you weren't here. Have a presence in our parks and in our public places. Have a lawful presence so we can deter the unlawful presence. And support HPD. They really do work hard. I call them regularly. I call 911 even if I'm on hold for little things, because we've had several fights over the shopping carts because someone in the Walmart, stole something from the Walmart shopping carts and they brought it to the Kapolei Regional Park shopping carts, and it was big physical fights. I mean, it happened one after another, and it happened over a period of time. It was super dangerous, super scary. Big HPD came in, and it happened over a period of time. But just it's growing, and that's why I'm hoping that more social services can be in our parks. Figure out how to get those who don't need to be there into where they out of there. Because there's a bunch of there are those in our parks that are there because they don't have documents. And when Achieve Zero is left, or they're no longer operating, several of those who live in our parks, they can't get documents, so they can't leave. They have no place to go. But if we can get them those services, we can get them out of the parks to shelter, to where they need to go. So we really need to get social services there. But in any case, support HPD. Be careful of the shopping carts. Try not to touch them. Just for your safety. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Mahalo for the updates, recognizing the increased amount of houseless people in our community, recognizing the shopping carts are showing up outside of shopping areas, including in the villages of Kapolei, along roadsides, in our parks. And recognizing that our first responders are overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated, but not by us, because we have no control over them, other than our gratitude and aloha that we give them every time they show up. So we hear you, community member, and we can work and hopefully ask and invite Paleiʻolai Solar to come and provide an update. especially on the beautification parts, and to see if they are noticing any thefts in their current project. Okay, any other community concerns, or questions? Seeing none, we are, oh,
Oh, here.
okay, come, who's? Hi, can you introduce yourself? Yeah.
I'm Jennifer Chinen, the Environmental Engineering Technician at Simone Pietri Enterprises.
Where? Where?
Also developing Aloha Carbon, which is the project that we're doing for C&D waste disposal into energy. So we are, go ahead, share the news.
We're just following up on the presentation we gave at last month's meeting for the Aloha Smurf and Aloha Carbon projects. For the Aloha Smurf project, the draft environmental assessment is currently undergoing agency consultation. So once those edits are reviewed, we will get it ready to share for public review and comments.
Awesome.
That's kind of all we have. Big news, we've worked on getting a site and worked through negotiations on a site lease. So gonna be working cleaning up that site, which was abandoned concrete company before. So
Congratulations.
Awesome, thank you. We appreciate the good work that you're moving forward on to try and take out Opala out of our waste stream and make it productive.
Yep.
Chair recognizes Vice Chair Dr. Keone Dudley.
Tell us a little bit more about your project. I'm trying to recall what it was all about.
So yeah, we're looking to take a C&D waste that's currently getting disposed of at PVP landfill. And we're looking to turn that into energy, which will help to sort out that C&D waste, recycle different streams from that waste. And then the stuff that we can turn into energy, we will. And then we're also looking at making fertilizer. Russia is a huge manufacturer of ammonia right now. With the war in Russia, the USDA is kind of making funding to make actual fertilizer in the United States. So we're looking to take in some green waste, and then the ash that we can take in from that green waste is high in carbon, and then we can put that into fertilizer with different other types of waste on the island that we get here. Make fertilizer for the different farms.
And tell me again your relationship with that dump, or whatever you call it.
We really don't have a relationship with them at all. We'd be working with the waste haulers individually from the actual landfill.
Oh.
We've tried to partner with them in the past, but yeah, we do not have a business relationship with them at all.
And tell me again about your company. Just a little bit more about your company and what.
Yeah, so we've been around for 3 years now. I've been with the company since the start. We've been more so on the engineering and development side of it. Worked with Hale before on a community engagement portion of that, making sure that we're doing cultural practices right, not stepping on any toes, not recommending native land. Yeah, we're looking to do waste to energy specifically. It's called gasification, so it's not incineration. There's a lot less emissions from gasification. We're actually trying to get back all the carbon and hydrogen within those streams, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, trying to reduce that lower. Later on, we're trying to move to a bigger phase that would make renewable natural gas, but we're starting off at a 50-ton per day system, which is going to be a smaller power block, and that will also help to power a 500-ton per day system, which is a little bit less than what we actually produce in the daily amount of C&D waste, but then we'll be able to make renewable natural gas on the island. It's a whole goal that we're trying to go for.
And where is your plant?
It'll be down in Camel Industrial Park. We're looking on Wyoming Loop currently. So we do have a signed site lease to do cleanup over the next couple of years. And then if we do that cleanup, then we'd be eligible for a 20-year lease. So.
And people will bring the trash to you.
Correct. Yeah, we're trying to divert it out of Nanakuli, out from PBT, possibly creating hubs on the island too. That would be little hubs to actually take the waste to, and then we bring it down, sort it down to Campbell Industrial Park if traffic becomes an issue down there.
Good, thank you very much.
Awesome. Any other questions or concerns with the update? We appreciate your engagement from the last meeting, this meeting, and then good luck on the draft environmental impact statement. Chair recognizes community member Ulukwa.
Yeah, mahalo to Mr. Hutchinson. I'd like to meet with you when I get back, please. I appreciate you're trying to make convert trash to gas, but we had a specialist that came in a couple months ago letting us know that the H power and also the gasification or that other process you're talking about, that these are a lot more toxic than we're being told, and that if you look at some of these newer renewable systems, they contribute more to the greenhouse effect. So I just want to make sure that can I see your stats, your data? Make sure that we're not swapping something for something worse. And then also, did you say you're at Kaohi Loop? You're looking at Kaohi Loop?
Kaomi Loop.
Kaomi Loop, yeah. We're at Kaomi Loop. I'm very familiar with that because we take care of an endangered plant sanctuary there. Where are you talking about?
It's going to be the old concrete creation site.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I know where that is. Okay, so the other thing is that the reason I'd like to talk to you is I would like to also know what are your emissions, not just emissions, but anything that goes into the water, because the water level is super low there, and going out to the ocean, because we've just seen so much that flies right past us, because this is the quote unquote industrial center, Campbell Industrial, that it goes under the radar, and all of this is going right into the ocean, which is right there, right next to where you're planning, right where H Power is, and so forth. So yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to meet with you when I get back.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you,
would
bro.
work. Okay, we could do a one-on-one, set up a meeting with your team and our team and yourself. So that'd be great.
Okay, appreciate it. Aloha.
Awesome. That's great. We would love to hear the findings, because all of the concerns raised, what I'm hearing from community member Ulukwa, we will probably have as well. Yes, like what are the expected emissions? How are you monitoring them? What is your care plan for mitigation of any materials that are coming off site, that is particularly those things that you're not recycling? That of course. Yeah. But the overall concept of what you're trying to do, very much, very much is good.
Thank you. We're trying to steward the land the best we can and try to be sustainable and open about it as much as we can.
Okay.
Great, Tabby.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Any other questions or concerns or comments from community members? Hearing none, we head now into board business. Oh, wait. Oh, Kalamai. Hello. No problem.
Hi, good evening, board, fellow community members. It's just an announcement. I'm Eric Antalan. I'm a volunteer and also the community outreach liaison with Halal Episcopal Church. We are a faith-based, nonprofit based right across a Kapolei Elementary School. It's just land right now, but they're in the process of doing all good works in there. So we're here to definitely, to support and hear any concerns in any way we can support. We're not only a spiritual support for the community, but we also partner with like organizations. We allow va'a, so we create va'as and we go out to the community. So if it's going to the parks and maybe have a presence or volunteer work from our congregation to go do that. So that's something we could do, and just throwing out ideas. So just having a presence with Halava Episcopal. We're here to support the members and the community. And we brought some sea salt gifts. It's a sea salt you can cleanse, purify, and for your homes and temples. And they have a small kind prayer. So a small kind gift for allowing me into your space, and I'll be here monthly just to hear any concerns and how we can support.
Awesome.
The name of your church again?
Halal Ba'a.
An actual ba'a? Do you have an actual ba'a?
Yeah, it's a church transplant in Kapolei. So we set up tents in the land, on the land there. We set up the tents, we have service, and then we break down the tents. Yeah, and, for now, until of course the building is being built. So. But anybody is always welcome, 10 a.m.
Okay, awesome. Mahalo for coming and being a positive influence in our community, and definitely lots to work on.
Yes. Yeah, they have a great upcoming center that's in the feasible study for Halava. And I'll put these here for you folks.
Okay, I'll appreciate the small kind gift.
You can pass it down too.
Any others that I've missed?
Would you like more? I'll put it over.
Okay, Mahalo, thank you. Okay. As we're passing out gifts, now we're moving on to board business. Yep, we're good. So first item of business, the approval of our written summary for video records for July 26th, August 23rd, and September 27th. Are there any amendments to those? Okay. I know that our secretary has reviewed and myself. So if there's no amendments, may I have a motion to approve the written summaries?
So moved.
It's been moved by Dr. Keone Dudley. Is there a second?
Oh, a second.
Second by Board Member Michaela Lindstone. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say ole. Any kanalua or abstentions? Hearing none, chair calls it unanimous. Okay. Now let's move on to the establishment of any additional committees and their chairs and committee members. So there was talk of setting up an education committee, but the board member that was interested is not present, so we will defer that. However, other than naming community member Thad Sprague, are there any other community members or board members wishing to serve on any of the established committees? Okay, so hearing no others coming forward at this time, I'll entertain a motion to seat community member Thad Sprague on all three committees.
Yes, please.
Moved by board member Michaela Lindstone. Is there a second?
Yes.
By Dr. Keone Dudley. It's like any discussion on seating community member Thad Sprague on Transportation Committee, Parks and Recreation, and Environmental Justice Committees. And hearing none for discussion, any testimony from the public? Hearing no testimony from the public, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say ole. Any abstentions or kanalua? Hearing none, the chair calls it unanimous. Congratulations, Thad, you get to serve on all three committees.
Like it or not.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to C. We do have on the docket, consideration, sorry, not consideration, but authorizing a letter to the Department of Defense expressing disappointment of the lack of consultation with our neighborhood prior to planning for and the relocation of fuel from Kapukaki Red Hill facility to Kapolei Campbell Industrial Park. Is there any public, okay, the chair is inclined to hold on this matter because the DoD did confirm they're going to come and visit us in January. But does anyone wish to testify on this? Okay, we'll do that in discussion if we get to that. So hearing no one wishing to testify, let's enter into discussion. If I have a motion at this time, but do you have a question? Board member, yes.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we need a letter. If they're gonna come in January, we can just tell them we're disappointed.
Okay. Micah, okay, so we don't need to send a letter of disappointment at this point because they heard from the wind that we were actually considering this, so they're coming. Okay.
Online, that should just be a question.
Okay, the chair recognizes Committee Member Melody Aduha regarding this item on the docket. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much, Chair, for entertaining this letter. I am in accord. This was a recommendation by the CRI that the neighborhood board provide some letter of disappointment to the DOD. But I am also in accord with what board member has mentioned, that since they will be present, and I will make sure of that on your January 26th meeting, that either in writing or verbally, we can, or you can express your disappointment in their failure to properly address the board prior to putting, I believe, 30 million gallons of petroleum from Red Hill onto Island Energy Services at Campbell Industrial Park. Thank you.
Mahalo, thank you for your testimony on the item on the docket. The chair does recommend, in accordance to the recommendation of board member Mikael Lindstone, that we defer this action, and we may tell them our disappointment when they arrive in person, and if they do not come in January, then we can take this matter up again. Okay. Okay, is there any objection with deferring this matter indefinitely, postpone indefinitely? Okay. Hearing no objections, we will move forward with the postponement. Awesome. So we do now have two resolutions before us that are regarding Opala. We've been having discussions about trash and mitigation for a number of months now. The first one is supporting a real property tax exemptions for residents living within Hawaii's half-mile waste or disposal buffer zone or deemed to have been impacted by landfill or waste to energy facility. The board has already taken a position on Bill 39, which is before the council, that is substantively similar to the content of our resolution in support of a half-mile buffer zone already. Because of the sentiment was that the 1,700 houses of impact is in the Nanakuli Makakilo, in the Nanakuli community around PVC landfill. So there were some updates on giving the community's feedback and board members' discussions. Are we ready to take a position formally on this matter through the resolution? I would entertain, I recommend that we support because it just codifies our position and outlines the mana'o of how waste is treated in our community. So it provides the narrative. And we can go over it if you guys wish to at this time, because we actually are making pretty good time. We have 45 minutes. Yes.
My chair, sorry, we didn't vote on this before. I feel like we saw this resolution before. Did we see it before and we didn't vote on it?
Yes, we saw the resolution. We didn't, because there were questions, concerns, mana'o, particularly on impact, who was getting impacted for the tax break, who was going to be impacted. If the compensation or benefits was going to be to the individual or to the community. So that's why we have two resolutions before us. One is the direct impact is to those that are property owners, that are owner occupants, and our position is if they're not owner occupants, if they're renters, the property owner does not get the tax rate unless they put some mitigation for air quality on their property of some sort, be it HVAC or air conditioning, a filter system of some sort, that they provide that before the tax break is given. So the tax break should be for the people that live there. So that's our position, that is different than what Bill 39 currently states. It just gives it to the property owners. Our position is the benefit should be to the people that lives there.
And that's the difference of this one
than what we were looking at before. Yeah. And then the other resolution we have before us, which is next, is that it might have impact on the individuals that are living there, but there's also a community impact on waste processing in the community. And so under the Hanneman's administration, there was community benefits that were provided, but that was only to 2008. And now it's 2023, and the communities of Kapolei, MakakiloKapoleiHonokai, Hale, and the West Coast have not gotten anything for hosting and processing all of this Opala. So the second one is clarifying that the community should have community compensation. So we're also shifting the language because it's not a benefit to have Opala and Opala processing in their community. We're actually saying that they should be compensated for caring for Opala that other communities are not. So
This is a new one.
yeah, that's this.
We didn't see that one.
That's the, we have tightened that one up. Yes.
What is your recommendation, sir?
The recommendation of the chair is that we support both because it's one, the first resolution that is what's before the council, but ours is clarifying that we want it to be for the people that actually live there, not just the absent landlord. And then the second one is that we are clarifying our position that anyone that hosts Opala or Opala processing in their community, including for H-Power or any derivatives of it, should be compensated in some way, shape, or form for providing the service to the rest of the community.
So moved.
Okay, so Vice Chair Kelly Dudley moved both resolutions.
Yes.
Second.
And it's been seconded by Board Member Mikiala Linstone. So the chair will take any other testimony because these are on the docket. We have heard testimony from community members. The majority has been supported from those that live in our community of KapoleiHonokai, Hale, and Makakilo. We have heard concerns though from the neighborhood boards of Waianae and Nanakuli, and their largest concerns is that this is not enough. That there should be more. So, but I think the sentiment from our community members is that we need to start somewhere. So let's start here. I recognize that we can take another step later. And I do recall Senator Kurt Fobella acknowledging that at the board meeting, saying that he will be willing to help us move resolutions at the state level in order to bring up our H-Power concerns if we want to. So yes, we've been having this amazing conversation about Opala, and mahalo nui loa to community member Ulukua, who reminded us of the expert, Mr. Ewald, that came to share the concerns over H-Power and also raising concerns over gasification. And we do have a resolution in the docket once certain things come into place for potentially consideration in the future, continuing our Opala conversation. Okay. Anyone wishing to testify at this time? Hearing none. No testimony. Okay. Okay, hearing none. Any discussion from our board members on the resolutions before us? That's my cut because we're all Opala experts at this point.
Yeah.
We've seen and heard it. Awesome. So hearing no further discussion from fellow board members, the motion before us is to adopt both supporting a real property tax exemption for residents living within Hawaii's half-mile waste or disposal buffer zone or deemed to have been impacted by a landfill or a waste-to-energy facility, and the resolution supporting host community compensation for those neighborhoods impacted by active landfills and waste-to-energy facilities. And if we can do a roll call vote at this time.
Bosler? Dudley?
Aye.
Ferrera? Hale? Khan? Lidstone?
Aye.
Singleton?
Aye.
Ta'ala?
Aye.
Harris?
Aye.
The motion is adopted, Chair, 6 ayes, no nos, and no abstentions.
Congratulations, everyone. our board and our community is probably the most informed about how Opala operates in the city and county of Honolulu than anyone else. Council members. But awesome. Thank you so much for all of those people and community members that have helped with putting these resolutions together, especially those that have helped with putting in the mo'olelo, the narrative of how all of these things happen. Because it didn't just happen overnight. We didn't just have an H-Power or a PVT landfill or Waimanalo Gulch spot out of nowhere. A lot of it in the mo'olelo tells us that there were certain policies that were not in place that we take for granted today, that we thought were common sense, that we wouldn't have Opala in our backyards. And companies took advantage to make sure that they made a profit, but also provided services to our community. But there was a buildup of negative effects over decades. And with the change of administrations from different mayors, a small problem snowballed into larger problems. But now I'm happy to say that I believe our community is going in a positive direction to find solutions, not just for Opala, but for disaster preparedness and for housing and for making sure our Paracats get homes.
And
looted and stayed. So good work, everybody. Mahalo nui loa for those resolutions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Chair recognizes Vice Chair Dr. Keone Dudley.
I would just, years ago, I read something about in Europe, they are going into their dumps and getting everything out and actually cleaning the dumps out entirely. And I wanted to ask these people, right now you're working with stuff at PVT, but is there a possibility that you would be interested in working on trying to take the stuff rather than the dump and then stuff like that? I mean, is that part of your vision or not?
PVT was actually mined in the landfill years ago, and material recycling facility. Try and get at least all the metal out of there, so separating out the wood into a certain spot, and then where that could be recycled.
Now, do you do only the PVT kind of thing, or do you do the other dump kind of stuff too?
We could do the other dump too, but the landfills already kind of spoken for that, as well as the state has others, other municipal solids. Trying to take care of the stuff that currently going off PVT.
Okay, thank you. So it's good to know that mining of landfills and recycling technologies exist, that maybe we can restore our land as a future project. Okay, awesome. So now we go to community reports. Uncle Mick is, we're holding on. I see Uncle Frank Ganadio. Yes. Question?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I just like to welcome Thad to the Transportation Committee. And would you like me to craft the agenda item for the Citizen Advisory Committee and send you an email on it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Would you like me to craft the agenda item for the CAC and send it to you to forward to the OMPO?
Sure.
Will do.
Thank you.
Welcome to our community where you get voluntold to do things. Appreciate the help, Dad. Okay, thanks, Uncle Frank, and welcome again. Okay, Uncle Mick's not on, so let's go now to Parks and Recreation. Chair Mikiala Lindsay.
I have no report, but so much to say, but no report.
Okay. So no report at this time, and Dr. Keone Dudley.
I think this would be the time we would bring up the new business.
Go right ahead.
Right. The Environmental Justice Committee actually started the whole thing with the sorry.
Disaster preparedness and hurricanes.
Yeah. The whole hurricane, bringing the people together and so forth.
Mhm.
And we're at a point now where we've sent letters to the governor and to the congressmen and women, and also to the TV stations. And I was talking with our chair about how could we do something to further encourage the governor to become active in this. And he suggested maybe we would have a letter from the board. And I thought that was a really good idea, because I think if the board speaks to the governor will feel like, you know, this is not just a bunch of people, this is really deeper than that. And so I see great value in it. After talking with the chair and writing up the letter, it occurred to me that our Congress people really need to get some word from the board that we want to get some action from them too. And then today and yesterday I was contacting TV stations, and it occurred to me, you know, as I asked them to look at the video, you know, it takes an hour to watch it, and so that they have to find the time to do that. If we could have a letter from the neighborhood board supporting that, I think we might be able to get more program time and get the program repeated more and more on the various channels. We're trying to get it put on every local channel. The big ones and the small ones. And our hope is to be able to get it at the same time on a number of channels, so that people will look at the channel guide for the night and see, wow, 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 that must be important. So at any rate, what I did was I wound up with 3 versions of the letter, and I sent it to all of the board members last night so that they would have a chance to take a look at it. And my hope is that the board would approve the letters being sent to the governor, to the Congress men and women, and to the TV stations. And that's what I would like to have happen now.
Thank you for the report on the committee regarding the work on the hurricane and threat documentary, specifically focusing on Hawaii's situation. And the recommendations from the committee is to have letters of support to the governor, to potentially
congressmen and women.
So the governor to potentially provide an opening and closing statement and a public service announcement request regarding the documentary and the TV shows. I'm sorry, the TV first one, governor, to notify the congressional delegation of the documentary and request consideration of funding for hurricane and disaster preparedness. And the third is to send letters of support to our local TV stations to request them to showcase the hurricane preparedness documentary or hurricane threat documentary.
So
the committee recommended that. Do we need to take it up by 2/3 at this time? Okay, so this is new action item, so we have to do it by 2/3 because it's not on the docket. So it's been moved by Board Member Michaela Lindstone to agendize these 3, the letter to the governor, letter to the congressional delegation, and the letter to the TV stations, all regarding the documentary on hurricane threat and preparedness.
A second.
Okay. Moved by Board Member Michaela, second by Vice Chair Dr. Kiyomi Dudley. Is there any discussion? Anyone from the public wishing to testify? Hearing no one wishing to discuss or to testify, let's do a roll call vote because it's 2/3.
Osler, Dudley,
Aye.
Ferrera, Hale, Khan, aye. Lidstone,
Aye.
Singleton,
Aye.
Sala,
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Motion is adopted to add, we're sending the 3 letters, to the agenda.
Okay, awesome. So we have the action before us is to send letters to the governor, to the congressional delegation, and to the TV station regarding the hurricane disaster preparedness documentary. Is there a motion to send these letters? Okay, it's been moved by Board Member Michaela Lindstone. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Vice Chair Dr. Kiyomi Dudley. Any testimony? Any discussion? So the chair only wishes to ask, because these documents were sent out. The only request for amendment of the letters is to indicate that if our community does nothing, my apologies, hold up. There was specific language that I noted that I wanted to change. Or rather than doing editorials at this time, if you would authorize the chair to make edits that is consistent with the intent of the letters, I think that would be sufficient rather than, because most of the letters I think are fine as is. Would that be amiable to the first and second? Okay.
So the amendment that you're wishing to make is something that you're gonna do
Yeah,
offline.
yeah. Because the letters were circulated to the board members. I just wanted to make some editorial changes. Some to basically make the language a bit more diplomatic, but still show the intensity of the intent. For example, there's a section in the letter that says, "It is clear to this board that the current hurricane plan of our government is to let thousands of us die and to focus only on caring for those who survive and cleaning up the debris." I would like the ability to edit that so that it becomes more that it is clear to this board that the current lack of preparedness of our community for category 2, 3, 4, and 5 hurricanes are such that it is likely that thousands of us will die. And that the government seems to be only focused on post-disaster relief. So that's the type of sentiments is to, because I do not know whether or not the board feels comfortable that we agree. But if you all feel comfortable with the language, then okay.
Can you read the original one more time?
It is clear to the board that the current hurricane plan of our government is to let thousands of us die and to focus only on caring for those who survive and cleaning up the debris.
Let me say that I got that from Vic Ferreira. And and I, it was in the back of my head, but it didn't really occur to me until Nick said, you know, that they really are not concerned with us living. And it's true, you know, they're not building the shelters. I was talking today with the lady, what's her name, that always comes and talks to us about hurricanes.
Svea.
Svea, okay. I'm so sorry. Okay, I was talking to this Svea, and she said, you know, they've been asking the legislature since 2008. Every year they would go and ask the legislature would give them no money, and then they would sit back and say, well, I don't think we'll do anything because we don't have any money. And then a couple of years would go by, and then they'd go ask the legislature again, and the legislature would have no money for them, and they would sit back and do nothing. And so it really is true that, you know, our government's, their unspoken plan is let the people die. And after we clean everything up, then we'll kind of see where we go from there. Okay. So, I mean, what you're saying is okay with me, but I think that what's in there is really true at the same time.
Yeah, the chair makes no comment on whether or not it's actually true. But I do believe that there is a trend within the United States of America and our state that we tend to respond after disasters happen.
Mhm.
We're not as much on the proactive engagement.
I'm okay with either the original or the edit, but I'll move to give chair editorial
Privilege.
Yeah, so my recommendation would be to, you know, make your edits and then bring it before the board next month, but it sounds like you guys want to get this done. So as long as you guys are okay, it sounds like, even though you're not being specific right now, just because of,
Right.
it sounds like you know what you're gonna change. So as long as the board is comfortable, then should be all good. For if you guys to pass the motion, then you just send over the finalized version and make sure it's dispersed.
Yes.
Okay.
We really need to get this out soon. So
No problem.
he wasn't able to bring the copies tonight, but you know, if I'll run around and get them signed by you or whatever.
Well, I think we can actually, I can digitally sign them, and then I can send them to him for disbursement, if that's okay.
That's fine.
It's a great video.
Yeah.
We'd like it to, get out soon.
Okay, so the chair's recommendation for the amendment was editorial privileges specifically for tone.
Okay.
Style. No substantive changes, because everything else is factual. I mean, everything is factual in the letters that's been provided. If there's no objection, hearing no objection, the amendment for chair's editorial privileges on the letters that have been circulated. The main motion is before us. The letter to the governor, to the congressional.
Sorry, just a clarification on the motion to amend. Was it again Dudley and Lidstone?
I
Yes.
motion, you second?
It was the same as the,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay. The main motion is before us, the three letters, one to the governor inviting to consider introducing the video and closing the video and then a public service announcement to the congressional delegation indicating our request for any type of funding or direction from the federal government for disaster preparedness, and to the TV stations for consideration of showcasing the hurricane threat and disaster preparedness documentary. Hearing no further discussion, the chair calls for a roll call vote.
Bosley? Dudley?
Aye.
Herrera? Hale? Khan?
Aye.
Lidstone?
Aye.
Singleton?
Aye,
Ta'ala?
with corrections. Yeah.
Right.
Aye.
Harris?
Aye.
The motion is adopted with 6 ayes, no noes, and no abstentions.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for the good work of the committee and taking all of that time and energy to put together documentary for our community to view with all of that pertinent information also.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I did, let me just throw in that also, I've contacted Jason Momoa's agent and Oprah Winfrey's agent to ask them to do PSAs. And we'll see what happens.
Okay. I really commend your leadership and your go-get-full attitude, and I like it, so. Okay, awesome, community members. I am pleased to say that we only have one announcement left with 20 minutes left on the docket. Is our next scheduled meeting for our neighborhood board is going to be Wednesday, January 24th, 2023. And please note, we do have planned to have the Department of Defense representation to be here to discuss with us their plans of refueling Kapokaki and the storage of 30 million odd gallons of petroleum in our community. So we invite you to attend. And with that, any final words?
Well, 6:30 start time?
6:30 start time? No,
Wait.
we're back at 7 p.m. Yeah.
No, he's saying.
No, that's what you meant.
They did repair it.
Oh, they repaired it? Okay.
Okay, that's a good question. So we'll be going back to 7 p.m. because the city actually repaired the air conditioner and we will not have noise.
Starts it.
So any other logistical issues that I may have not missed? Okay, with that, we are ending early and I want to wish everyone here and at home, MakakiloKapoleiHonokai and Hale well wishes for these holidays. Be safe, share smiles and hugs, and make sure to give away your favorite dish to your friends. Okay. Mahalo nui loa, aloha, the meeting is adjourned.
Aloha.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope Santa Claus gets you everything you need too.